I'm not dead.
You're not dead. That's a good thing.
It is.
We would prefer that.
So we were just talking to the producers, and they told us about how they brought you cupcakes, and
They did.
thing, but they still thought they weren't going to get you. So what made you decide?
You know, they were so. It's them. They sent me cupcakes, Jerry and Jennifer.
What?
Your cupcakes? What are you talking about?
No, I didn't. They might have melted by the time they got to Australia.
Yeah, shipped them overseas. I think it was them. Like, I loved them, and I know that being on a TV show, it's important that the show is great and wonderful and all of that, but it's the people that you're working with in the end, and they are so wonderful. And then the cast is so fantastic and wonderful. I mean, that's really what it was.
Well, I know we talked about this before, but about having two women involved in this and what that means for the writing process and just the whole process in general. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's funny to talk to you in this
I know,
capacity now.
Formal.
I really loved that it was women, and I've always wanted to, as you know, I've always wanted to build female characters and female examples that are more true to our experience and represent something for younger women that they can actually aspire towards, and that isn't destructive to their projections of what their future life can be like. And that was really important for me, and I thought that Sherry and Jen offered an opportunity to do that in a way that I hadn't had previously.
I promise we'll ask you questions too. There's one more for her. You've done a lot of genre projects, obviously.
I have,
Smallville, Chuck, Street Fighter, all that. Is this sort of
I don't know
fantasy
how it
world?
happened.
Is that just what you're attracted to?
Honestly, I think what happened is I got Smallville, and that put me in a certain category, I think. I mean, maybe it's not that way, and but that seems to be the projects that people come to me with. And I've done a bunch of little independent films that aren't as genre-y at all, but they're little and they don't have it. They're not as defining for me in that sense. But I like them. It's fun.
Why did you join?
I was unemployed.
You're lying. He's
We
lying.
thought it was your deep voice.
I was very employed. Yeah, I was doing a Jane Campion miniseries for Sundance and BBC, but I wasn't going to do pilot season this year because I was just going to put my head into this big piece we're doing in Queenstown. But they gave me a call and said, put yourself on tape. And I'm a fan of the original series. I grew up watching it. So I was really intrigued to read what their pilot was and how it related to the original series. And when I saw that it was very different, I was even more excited because I didn't want to try and remake that because the fan base is so huge, we just get our heads chopped off. And I'm a very physical actor as well, I've trained in physical theatre, so the idea of him transforming into the beast and what I could bring to that as an actor was exciting for me.
They do say that all the time.
Do they? I've never heard that.
Dangerous.
I don't know. I just try and personalize everything so it becomes true to me, even though it's supernatural and may seem very far-fetched. I make it seem a reality to me, and just whatever comes out is,
He's very emotionally connected, though. So in my experience of you, so it the intensity of the emotion comes across really strongly, and I think it's very raw. So I think that's what the girls were doing.
Yeah, and I mean the situation that this guy is in, he's not a beast, he's not a lion, he's actually a human being, or was a human being, and has had this ripped away from him. So, just for anyone to think about that situation, if that happened to any one of you, it's pretty full on, and it can take you places. So, yeah.
Most of us have seen the pilot, so we have kind of an idea of what your characters are, but they said you, in particular, you become spookier, they said, as the episode's gone. Did you notice that as the scripts are coming in? And are you
to tell you the truth, we haven't seen any scripts.
We haven't seen a single script.
Yeah, we're still in early stages. Yes, I'm excited about where the beast element can go.
Yeah.
And the whole backstory. It's huge. It can just go everywhere. There can be other beasts, because they were part of a military experiment. So he has other friends out there. I mean, most of them are supposed to be killed, but there's so many avenues you can go. And I like the idea of, because it's a chemical mutation, I like the idea of it sort of getting bigger and bigger inside him and what that can do.
Do you think that his friends, his surviving friends that are out there are as, nice as him? Or do you think there are some that
I mean, that was just an idea. There may not be any other surviving beasts out there. But I've been looking at all these sort of mind control stories that from the 50s and stuff, and experiments they did. And they did these experiments on monkeys, and they triggered the aggressiveness in them. And when they were in their packs, they were only aggressive towards other people, towards other monkeys that were also a threat. But each of their personalities, sort of constructed how aggressive they were. So if their personalities were quite meek, their aggressiveness was not as large as the others. So I found that really interesting to see with your question. Yeah, maybe there are some beasts out there that are going to be a threat to Catherine or a threat to Vincent.
But we have no clue.
But we have no clue. I'm just talking shit right now.
Or you said you do more stunts, because they were just talking about you hanging over Steph and Smallville.
Oh yeah, right, because you guys have...
So you're sort of like famous for this now, so they're going to make you do.
Well, I don't know what happened. I think that somewhere down the line, someone figured out that I was good with stunts. And then it just keeps happening. Yeah, they did hang me off a lot of things.
So did you guys have to do a chemistry read together, or did they just actually think that you would be able to act it?
No, it was all prescribed. We had to do a chemistry read.
We did do a chemistry read. Yeah.
I was brought over for a test deal, and then flown back, so I had to go back and shoot. And then when I got off the plane, I was told to get back on the plane, the next plane, and come right back to LA from New Zealand to do a chemistry read to meet Kristin, which was exciting. But and we did, we worked really well together and had a good connection. But because of my hair being shaved, they put a really bad wig on me for this chemistry read. So Kristin met me with this sort of alpha.
Jay was more self-conscious about it than I didn't even. No one else noticed. I don't think.
I looked like the Western Bogan from hell. That's like white trash where I come from. Like it was. I was like, hey Kristin, I just got off the plane.
I'm from New Zealand.
I'm from New Zealand. Hope you like me. But it went well.